welcome to everyone, welcome to new watchers of this channel, welcome also to all watchers, best wishes to all of you, and my only wish is that all those for this year is that all those conflicts stop, but it doesn't seem to take that direction, as we could see over the last days. And over the next video we will try to review all those ongoing conflicts, especially in the Middle East, the Idlib one, Iraqi one, Iranian one, Libyan one, Yemeni one. You see, as the list is very long and still it's not exhaustive, and we will start today with the Libyan one, because we have just learned a couple of hours ago that a ceasefire has entered into force. It's a very important news, because over the last days the Khalifa Haftar, the strong man from eastern Libya, have still refused the ceasefire, despite calls coming from prominent actors such as the Russian president and Turkish president. But despite that, Khalifa Haftar still refused to accept it, probably because he is more, let's say, willing to listen the calls coming from the United Arab Emirates and Egypt, who are his main weapon sponsors, and Russia, which has probably less leverage on it. But despite that, he has accepted last night, probably because there is a new factor, a new situation on the ground, and this new situation on the ground is the arrival of Turkish troops in Libya, because as you probably know, or maybe you don't know, it's not important, the Turkish parliament voted in a couple of days ago the sending of troops to change the showdown between the GNA troops, so from the troops controlled by the internationally recognized government from Tripoli, and the troops from Khalifa Haftar, known as the Libyan National Army. And probably this new factor has probably changed the calculation, if you like, of the strong man from eastern Libya, namely Khalifa Haftar, and it probably thought that it's much more reasonable to accept a ceasefire and to probably to enter into negotiations than continuing bombing Tripoli, because those bombings, those airstrikes, are very deadly. 300 people died since April. Just 30 students died last Saturday. Those strikes are totally indiscriminate. It doesn't lead to a great result, because now it has been over 9 months that those airstrikes have been led, and you see he's still struggling to enter into Tripoli. And even worse than that, he's gaining Khalifa Haftar unpopularity among those inhabitants from GNA territory, and those people are strongly supporting their government, their army, who are trying to pushing back the Libyan National Army of Khalifa Haftar. So what comes next now after this ceasefire? So first of all, we will see whether this ceasefire will hold. It's not entirely sure, those previous attempts of ceasefire have failed, but if it's failed, we can definitely say that probably those Turkish troops will now will fight along with the GNA troops, and probably it could be a great support, as we could see, for example, during the Turkish intervention in northeast Syria in October against YPG. We saw how in a couple of days the Turkish troops have gained to ground. So it's probably one of the best armies in the world, so probably we can think that it will be a major, if you like, support for GNA troops. It's so a great news for those inhabitants of GNA territory. On the other side, probably we can imagine, and maybe that's the calculation of Khalifa Haftar, that the United Arab Emirates, maybe France, Russia and other actors could also bring some weapons to help Khalifa Haftar. So probably this this war will become, if you like, it's not very nice to say like that, but more and more a proxy war, in the sense that we will see now a direct confrontation between Turkey and Russia, because also on the other side Russia has sent some troops on the ground, but Russia has a different tactics than Turkey, because Russia does not assume, if you like, the presence of Russian troops. Officially, as Mr. Putin said yesterday during a conference press with Miss Merkel in Moscow, he said that those troops are not, I quote Mr. Putin, paid by Russia and not sent by them. So it is just, as he said, voluntary people who go to Libya to fight through a private security firm named Wagner. It's the same method that it is used actually in Syria. We have also people along with the Russian troops in Syria, you have also private security troops. In Ukraine also it was used the same tactics. Mr. Putin said we never send the Russian troops, we have just voluntaries, but actually it's probably due to the stake we have, it's very hard to imagine that it has not been sent or approved by the Russian state. So you have those private Russian mercenaries who are on the ground, who are also have changed partly the showdown, because we have seen over the last days that there are this advance on the ground by the Libyan National Army, with capture of the city of Sirte, which is not very far from Tripoli. So you see, we see that this Libyan war is more a fight between, directly a fight between Turkey and on the other side United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Russia. And probably to avoid such a catastrophic scenario, both parties come to a term that it's better to avoid it and to come to a ceasefire. But let's not be too optimistic. This ceasefire could be just, unfortunately, a preparation for a larger war in Libya, and we can think that over the next week both parties will probably use this time to elaborate more sophisticated tactics to get more weapons, and probably this war will probably resume sooner than we could expect.